Hi, this is Anita with 5 Minutes with Art. When you think about pop art, the name that usually comes to most people's minds is Andy Warhol. And there's a reason for that, because Andy Warhol really is the iconic pop artist. Today we're going to talk a little bit about, some of his legacy and talk a little bit about why Andy Warhol is such a great pop artist. He really was a trailblazer in this entire pop art movement. And he revolutionized the art world with his innovative works that basically seamlessly began to merge like high-end art with popular culture. He's renowned for his use of bold colors, repetitive patterns, and deep fascination with celebrities. And I'm going to talk today a little bit about Andy Warhol and then explain some of my favorite pieces of art and why they are. Of course, he's most famous for his Campbell's soup. The great thing about Campbell's soup is he took something which is so mundane, like a Campbell's soup can. I mean, it's something you'd have in your pantry, you'd have in your home. And he took that Campbell's soup can and he made this iconic work of art with it. I mean, that really is the essence of Andy Warhol. I also love all of his Marilyn Monroe pieces. He did several of Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe herself was just, she's a great, well-known type of celebrity. And he really took her and put her into the next level. He did this again with Elvis's too, where he did the 8 Elvises. And, he did the same thing with Marilyn Monroe and Elvis, these two iconic, celebrities and personalities. And forever probably added a lot to their popularity at the time. Of course, he, did it too with Elizabeth Taylor. But then he took other mundane things like Brillo boxes and sort of made a display out of Brillo boxes in 1964, or some very basic flowers. One of my favorite of his is this 1972 portraits of Mao Zedong, of Mao in China, where he, did Mao in all these different type of colors and sort of, gave Mao this very, this like pop art view like he only does. I really have always loved that one. I would say if I had one favorite work of art of Andy Warhol, it would probably for me would be Mao. But part of that could be because I've lived and worked in China. I know China well. I've studied China. I've studied a lot about Mao Zedong. And I just really love what he did with this here. Where he blended, like he's sort of making a political statement in 1972. You have to remember, at this time, China was closed off. And Mao was, completely popular in China at the time. So this would have been extremely revolutionary for this period of time. And he basically he blended the political and pop culture, which Andy Warhol was really, able to do so well, where he could blend these cultures, make a political statement at the same time as making another type of statement. And of course, we can't talk about Andy Warhol and what he did to Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper. He in one of his final works, he took the Leonardo da Vinci's very famous Last Supper and infused it with contemporary commercial elements. So he sort of is questioning the commercialization of religious art in this and the impact of spiritual value. So it's really, this of course is also a very great and iconic painting. And again, one of his other work, we had sort of a political or a social statement to it, was his work entitled Gun. Where basically he was making a statement about the gun violence in America. And he made this statement actually in 1981. So, it really shows like how, Andy Warhol was not just an artist, but he was in some ways, he was a messenger. He was making these political statements. He was telling us some of his beliefs and what he believed in. And I think that's one reason why he continues to resonate so much today. If you're interested in learning more about Andy Warhol, I've written a blog post entitled Legacy of Andy Warhol, a dive into his most famous artworks. And you can go on there and you can actually see a lot of these artworks in person. And then we've sort of, in the same blog post, we have listed out 10 reasons why he continues to be such a popular artist, and why whenever you think about pop art, you always think about the name of Andy Warhol. This is Anita with 5 Minutes with Art. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to have you subscribe, press that subscribe button, and become part of our community. We'd love to have you join with us. Thank you so much for being part of our community. This is Anita with 5 Minutes with Art. Thank you so much for viewing our YouTube.